Welcome to What's Your Signature?
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of What's Your Signature? Now guys, you may have noticed that I'm not even wearing eyelashes. Escándalo! Well, it's because I'm total dick and I never put my eyelashes away properly after a show. I just like chuck them anywhere and then I can't find them. Well, I can only find one. And also, my eyelash glue is finished, and eyelash glue is not considered an essential item in this time. So, here we are. Guys, today I am interviewing another performer from New York City who is absolutely gorgeous and fabulous and totally one of my burlesque crushes. It is Tansy. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. It's so lovely to chat to you. You are one of my burlesque crushes, so I'm super stoked to be chatting to you.
Make me blush.
You're such an amazing performer. In awe always when I see stuff of you, videos, obviously, because I'm on the other side of the planet, so I've never seen you perform live.
I hope to get there someday for sure.
That would be amazing. Even more amazing is if I can go to New York.
Oh yes.
Even better. Well, hopefully one day soon we'll be able to travel again and we can do things.
Yes, hopefully.
I know. All my travel plans have been put on hold for this year, so that's a bummer.
Kind of a tough pill to swallow, but it's just there's nothing you can do, so we just have to make the most of it.
Yep. And I have been watching you on Instagram with your clothes in challenge. You look certainly like you've been making the most of your locked in times. Tell me about this challenge. How did this come about?
Yeah, sure. So I was talking to my roommate when I had just flown back from Europe because I was on tour when everything was happening. So I was actually in Belgium. And then Trump announced, no travel, no one's going to be permitted back into the States, and everyone kind of panic bought flights home.
Wow.
And I was able to get a flight in a couple days. And so, but at that point, almost all my gigs in Europe had been canceled anyway.
Yeah.
Because it was already pretty bad over there. So anyway, I came back to New York, and so within I think it was March 15th or something. And because I saw what was happening there and how the cities were being shut down, I knew it was going to happen in New York, and it was only a matter of time. And I was just talking to her about wouldn't it be kind of fun to challenge myself to make a creative decision at the start of each day, I've always loved vintage clothing, and it's something I've collected for a long period of time, and I don't wear half of what I own, and I frankly sometimes feel kind of over it, when you're sick of your own clothes and you don't find I end up wearing the same thing every day, just a black turtleneck and then black pants, done.
The favorites, yeah.
So it was a way for me to keep the days interesting and to, in those first early days of kind of absorbing what was happening and realizing okay, there's not going to be any work for the next month. There's not going to be any work probably for a long time. I don't know how to make money anymore. Panic. So what can I do to kind of do a lighthearted, playful thing? And I've just loved dressing up ever since I was a kid, So I have found there's a real playful energy to my days because of it,
Stunning. I love them, and your captions are hilarious.
I didn't even know I could pun.
Like the puns are just infinite with you.
Oh my God. I think I started it with the first one, or I don't know. I just started trying to title them and to make a funny, and now it's kind of gotten out of hand to where my brain is like all day kind of stewing on whatever outfit like I'm wearing and just trying to come up with puns. And it's it's really silly, but it's been fun.
It's so fun.
Me.
It's
And
absolutely fun. You are certainly brightening up lots of people's day with your puns and your...
It's so nice to hear. And I think I would have quit after the first week if I didn't get a nice response. There was such a beautiful outpouring of like, thank you, this makes my day. And then, so now I do it more for other people than I do for myself now. So.
Are other people participating as well in your challenge, or is it just something you're doing? Oh, amazing!
That's my favorite thing, is that a lot of people have been doing it, and that's what I try to encourage. And people send me their stuff and tag me in their photos.
Oh, how cool!
And, it's really neat
That
just to see
so
what
fun.
people have. It's like getting to see little treasures of what people have in their closet, because we only get to see them. At least I show up to my gigs in overalls and a t-shirt and then put on a costume.
Yes.
And so, but I have all these other things that I just don't put on unless I'm like going to the theater or something like that, an event.
Somewhere fancy, yeah.
Yeah, and just like ridiculous things I've collected that I'm like, well, maybe I'll make an act out of this sometime and then never have,
So it's just chilling in your closet and finally getting dusted off.
Yes. So there's lots of things that haven't come out before.
So you say you collect like clothing. So like, how many outfits do you have? How long are you going to continue with your challenge wearing a new outfit every day? Because I'm like, who has this many clothes? Like, I don't have like 3 fancy going out outfits.
I really didn't think I had a lot of, I don't think of myself as someone that has like a ton of clothes, but I guess maybe in comparison I do, but I've scaled down so much. I've read Marie Kondo so many times, and I've like filled garbage bags upon garbage bags of clothes on the street, like real nice vintage that like didn't fit, or a zipper was broken, or I don't know. I was like, I'm never going to fit, gone. So I really regret some of those with this. I'm like,
I'm sure.
I
Damn. But I guess do you consider them as clothes, or do you consider them as like things that you collect though? Like, because you say you didn't.
I guess yeah. When I say collect, I guess I mean gather over a period of time.
Okay.
And it's something I love to do whenever I leave New York. If I go to a smaller town, the first thing I do is try to find the restaurant I want to eat at, and the vintage stores, the thrift stores, and antiques shops. Like, I've definitely gravitated more towards antiques in the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, where I don't really buy clothes anymore, but I buy, I'm like, oh, this chair,
Yes.
Because I'm turning into adult, I guess, and I want like to fill my home with things. I'm really addicted to lamps.
Oh,
the problem.
Cool.
I buy a lot. Lamps and rugs, I really can't resist if I can find a steal.
I'm like that with boxes. I have a thing for boxes.
Oh,
like weird.
Like boxes, or
beautiful little like containers or tins, or like things that you can put things into. I don't know why.
Yes, storage. That's a necessary thing.
That's an excellent excuse, which I shall use. For future reference.
It's storage.
Absolutely. So given your love of vintage clothing, have you made a lot of those into burlesque costumes, or do you just like keep them as it is? Is it too painful to cut them up?
I think a handful of costumes that have come from a vintage piece. But mainly I end up buying them thinking I'll turn them into a costume, and then I don't, because I just don't really strip out of gowns. Because for me, I'm so story based. So I have to have the story and the character first and then build from there. So if I have a garment that's just like a nice dress, even if it's very sparkly, I can't find the woman sometimes. You know what I mean? I can't find who it is.
The person who would wear that, yeah.
Right. And so I've found that working costume wise from the ground up is easier for me.
Cool.
But that being said, it doesn't stop me from buying beautiful gowns that I think will be costumes, because I do. I just sit in my closet, and then when there's a pandemic, people get to see them.
That is like my box thing in storage. That's your excuse. I'm buying this because it could be a costume.
Exactly. I write it off on my taxes. It's great.
Oh, brilliant. Advantages. So, I think you posted like a greenish dress today with a embroidery on it.
I did, yeah.
Wow, that with the embroidery, is it hand embroidered?
It's like a 3-dimensional beading.
Wow,
it's really beautiful.
So gorgeous.
It's super beautiful. I actually shot that look last night, so that's what I tend to do, is like take the photos the night before or the day before, and then I'll post them the next day. So I'm not wearing that today, but actually that's secret. But yeah, I love the 1940s style so much. I mean, shoulder pads. That's why I love 80s too.
Yes.
Love. And that's, a gorgeous piece. I think I've worn it twice maybe, and I've had it for at least since 2010.
Wow. When did you start collecting?
Probably I started begging my mom to take me to the Goodwill when I was in probably early high school.
Wow. Okay.
And
so
she was really kind of embarrassed by that her daughter wanted to shop at the Goodwill, because she was like, it was like a sense of pride. Like, I can afford to
it's
do some Walmart. Let's go to Walmart. And I'm like, I want to go to the Goodwill. And she was just embarrassed that I wanted things like secondhand. But I always love searching, and I would find t-shirts, for 50 cents, $1, old vintage 70s t-shirts and stuff. And that's kind of what I wore in high school. And then I saw the movie Amelie in college. And that movie like changed my whole aesthetic. And I only wore like skirts and boots and scarves and kind of shifted to this like then I started to shop more like vintage. And then I went through a big 1950s phase, and completely outgrew that. And I hardly ever wear 50s now because it feels so sweet. And I just don't relate to it anymore. And then I went into heavy 40s, and then I kind of grew out my hair really long and had this Victorian bun and was really into Victorian for a while. And now I just am a hodgepodge of the clothes I have bought over the years because I don't buy new ones. So.
So how long do you think we can still see fresh content for Closing Challenge?
Well, I was thinking, I'm like, at first I thought I would do 30 days, but that came and went.
Yes.
Still going strong. So then I'm like, okay, maybe 50 days. But honestly, I could probably do this for a year.
Wow.
And still, but I would reuse things, but reuse them differently. You know?
Style, yeah. That's amazing.
But I don't think I have that in me.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I have that many puns Once I run out of puns, I guess that's when I have to quit.
I feel like you found like a new career in writing. You can do like
yeah.
honey greeting cards or something.
Right.
So given your love of clothing, would you rather wash dishes or do the laundry?
Oh, wash dishes.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
No, that's my worst thing.
I actually I like washing dishes. I don't mind it. It's something I think a lot, and I kind of dream out when I'm washing. I like the water over my hands, but laundry, no. I don't have, well, first of all, I don't have a washer and dryer because I'm in New York City. So I just drop mine off at the laundromat. I don't touch
That's
it.
convenient.
Yeah. I just can't be bothered. I can't be bothered.
Oh my word. I feel like I would rather scrub toilets than wash the dishes.
Really?
I absolutely despise it. I can't stand.
So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, we were kind of divided. I had siblings and we each had our different chores. And I think our parents purposefully give us the chore that we didn't want to do the most, like I hated mopping. I'll vacuum any day, but mopping, no.
I think maybe my dislike of washing dishes also comes from childhood because it was like a punishment for us. Like,
yeah,
it's like go and wash the dishes, bitches.
Yeah. Well, I like to cook, so it's just a part of the process, I guess. I feel like because I probably like, especially during this quarantine, I've been cooking a lot and that's been lovely, but I feel like I do dishes all day long too.
I feel like cooking and washing dishes and then start the next meal and then wash the dishes. It's like, I feel like that's all my life consists of these days.
Yeah.
What are we going to eat next? And then washing the dishes.
Exactly.
Do you bake as well or do you just cook?
I don't bake that often, but I bake sometimes. Like I'll bake a cornbread or a zucchini bread or banana bread or something like that. But I'm gluten free.
Okay. So it's a bit difficult.
Free, so it's not as fun.
No, for sure. I baked a delicious vegan, but no, I think it's got normal flour in it, so you wouldn't be able to do it. But like, I baked the most amazing vegan lemon cake the other day, like a pound cake.
Yeah, vegan
And
desserts.
it's like proper. It rose nice. Because like vegan cakes are normally quite flat.
Yeah,
but this one was delish. I'll send you the recipe. It was very easy as well, so it was so nice.
Yeah. It's been nice to find some like new meals, and my favorite thing that's come out of this is taking. Okay, it's a breakfast, and I take an acorn squash. Okay, take one of these guys. Okay. Oh,
wait,
I'm on low. Okay, sorry, I'm on low battery.
Okay. Show it.
So we have an acorn squash, and then you slice it this way. You have these like rounds, and then you scoop out the center because there'll be seeds in there. And then you cover it with olive oil and salt, pepper, herbs, bake it, and then for like 20 minutes, flip them. And then when they have 10 minutes to go, you crack an egg in the hole.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you bake an egg that's inside the hole of the acorn squash, and it's unbelievable.
Yum! Delish. Maybe you should do that after your clothes challenge. Do like a little cooking vibe. Yeah. That sounds delish. I don't think we find that type of squash here by us really, but I can try it with another kind of pumpkin.
Yeah, you probably could. I mean, that one works well because of the size of it, but it's so good.
Delish. Now, are you ready to show us what your signature move is?
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's do it. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna stand up because I need. Here we go.
Oh, I'm living for your outfit. So nice.
Yeah,
It's a jumpsuit.
Oh, it's a jumpsuit.
Oh my god, that's so gorgeous. I love it.
Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Go.
Okay, here we go.
Oh wait.
Like that. It's the two bobby pin up to that is always on my head. So, oh, look what I got.
Kitty cat! Hello, baby.
Pilot.
Oh, hi. Aw, she's so cute. She's like, Mom, what you doing?
Yeah. Hi. He's like, what's all this about?
She's so cute. Is it a boy? Is it a he or a she? It's
Yeah.
boy. Ginger cats are normally boys, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think like 80% of them are, or something like that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for showing us your signature moves. Some hairography from Miss Tansy. Love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for chatting to me.
Oh, it was lovely. It was lovely. And sending all my love to you and your community and your country.
Thank you.
We'll be so happy we're all on the other side of this.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
thanks for entertaining us with your quotes and your puns.
I'll keep it up.
Thank you. Bye.